Imagine this. You just rented out your property to a new tenant. Things seem fine for a while, but then at some point, the tenant begins falling behind on their rent. You ask them to pay, and they tell you that they are intentionally withholding the rent because you failed to cut the grass, didn't replace the microwave after it broke, and didn't take their side in the parking space dispute that they have with one of your other tenants in that building. Now imagine that the lease you signed with them didn't address whose responsibility it was to handle any of the issues I just mentioned. How confident do you feel that at the eviction hearing, you'll be able to convince the judge that the tenant was not entitled to abate their rent because the lawn care was the tenant's responsibility, the microwave was old and you told the tenant when they moved in that it would not be replaced after it breaks, and that the parking space is first come, first served? I sure wouldn't be too confident. So what's the problem? It's that a lot of landlords use generic, outdated lease agreements that don't actually hold up in court. And with the landlord-tenant laws constantly changing, a one-size-fits-all lease just doesn't cut it anymore. You need a lease that's state-specific, legally compliant, and designed to protect you. Of course, you can always go to an attorney and have him or her draft a customized lease for your specific situation for a few $1,000s. Now, if you have lots of money burning a hole in your pocket, I completely understand. Far be from me, an attorney of 15 years, to deprive my fellow attorneys of a steady source of business. But if you are a more cost-conscious landlord, there may be a better way. So that's why in this video, I would like to introduce you to a website I recently came across called easylandlordforms.com, which gives you the ability to create attorney-reviewed, state-specific leases that you can customize in minutes for a small fraction of the price that you would otherwise pay to an attorney to do the same exact thing for you. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll let you know how you can get an extra 10% off the already low price they charge. But first, if we're just meeting, my name is Vitaly Volpov. I am a real estate investor with 188 rental units in my portfolio, a licensed attorney, and a part owner of a real estate brokerage in upstate New York. On this channel, I discuss various real estate investing strategies and legal topics relating to real estate. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. So let's just jump right into it. What does easylandlordforms.com do and offer? Its number one feature is that it allows landlords to create DIY leases which are customized for their situation and are compliant with their home state laws. It has built-in lease generation wizard which asks you a bunch of questions in plain English about your lease situation and based on your answers creates very detailed and comprehensive leases. It starts by having you choose the type of lease you want to generate. The choices include residential, vacation, commercial, garage or storage, and residential sublease. It then asks you to select the state where your property is located. Obviously, this is very important as each state has its own laws governing the landlord-tenant relationship, which are very often different from other states. This is one of the biggest problems with using generic leases. From there, it has you either create a rental unit, or if you already added units on the site, just select one of which you added in one of those that you want to generate a lease for. Then you would do the same with the tenant who will be on the lease. Then you would enter the landlord information and the basic terms of your lease, answer questions about various fees and maintenance, utilities and services, rules and regulations that you want to be included, and finally, additional documents in the form of addenda that may be useful or necessary to round out your lease document. Throughout the entire process, you will see very easy to understand tips and suggestions from the lease building wizard, which will inform you of the various things you will want to consider based on the state-specific legal requirements. The lease building wizard also allows you the opportunity to add custom language to most of the sections referenced. So if there are specific terms, rules, or clarifications that you want your lease to include, you can manually add them. When you get to the additional documents section, you can select the documents you want to include and deselect ones that you don't. You can also preview and even fully customize each and every one of them to your liking. Once you've completed and saved your lease draft, it gets added to the list of documents under the My Documents tab, where you can choose to view or further edit and customize it. Once you're happy with the lease, you can electronically sign it and email it to your tenants for electronic signatures. Once all parties sign, a fully signed copy of the lease will be saved in your My Documents tab. In addition to the lease building feature, the site also offers tenant screening, which provides quote unquote residential score for your potential applicant and includes a credit and a criminal background check. The cost of the tenant screening is $29.95, which can be paid by the landlord or by the applicant. For an additional $5, you can also search for past eviction proceedings. However, keep in mind that some states, like my home state of New York, now prohibit a landlord from making a screening decision based on past evictions. Apparently, doing so is stigmatizing to the tenants who had been evicted and results in those tenants having a harder time finding a new place to rent. Go figure. Anyway, most state laws are not as ridiculous as New York's, and in most states, prior evictions are something that you can find out about and consider in your selection process. In addition to tenant screening, the site also now offers a rent collection feature where tenants can pay their rent and other fees such as late fees via ACH transfers. It also allows tenants to create auto payments so that they don't miss any rent payments and makes the rent collection process much more seamless for landlords. The site also offers hundreds of various useful real estate related forms and addenda, everything from move-in, move-out checklists to purchase and sale agreements to various receipt forms, state-specific disclosures, and so on. All of these are searchable by state or type of form, and all of them come with detailed information and instructions and relevant tips for handling and using these forms. Honestly, I feel like the forms alone are worth thousands of dollars, but they are all available at no extra cost with the subscription to the platform. Finally, the site also has a huge library of real estate and landlord-related articles, Q&A forum questions from other users, lists of recommended real estate attorneys in every state, and lists of local real estate investment clubs. At this point, I know what you're probably thinking. This all sounds great and looks to be very thorough. But what's the cost? Right, let's get into that. There are basically 3 different pricing options that Easy Landlord Forms currently offers. 2 of the options are pro plans, and the third one is a short-term 30-day option. The non-pro plan does not include the rent collection option. The 30-day plan is a one-time $45 fee. The next one up from there is a monthly subscription of $12 per month, but you need to pay for the first 3 months upfront. So it is really a $36 fee, and then at the end of the first 3 months, the subscription would renew on a monthly basis unless you decide to cancel it. The third option is a yearly subscription, which is a $75 per year fee, and it renews annually. The other variable that is important to mention is that these are the prices for the ability to create a lease for one unit. If you have more units, there is an incremental cost that is built in. So let me show you what that looks like so you can visualize it. So if you go with the one-time 30-day option and you have 5 units that you want to create leases for, the cost would go from $45 to $57. Similarly, on the monthly plan for 5 units, the cost would go from $12 to $24 per month. On the annual plan, it would go from $75 to $105 per year. Any way you cut it, all of the costs mentioned are much less expensive than you would have to pay to an attorney. A typical fee for an attorney to create a state-compliant lease from scratch today is easily in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. It would also likely take a few weeks for them to get it back to you. So certainly you wouldn't have a lease ready to go in minutes the way you would with Easy Landlord Forms website. So in my opinion, it is really a no-brainer from a cost perspective. Now, in terms of which plan makes the most sense, ultimately that is up to you. But from my perspective, being a landlord who intends to hold my rentals for years and decades to come, I would want to get the benefit of the continuous updates to the lease terms as I renew them or lease my new apartments to new tenants. As I said before, state laws change constantly, so the lease that was perfect 2 years ago may now have some serious flaws because of the things that have transpired in the meantime. So for me, the one-time 30-day plan would be the least useful one. The monthly and the yearly plans, on the other hand, do fulfill the need to have the most up-to-date lease terms. Again, this is just my approach and my opinion on this. Another question that you may have is what happens if I want to add units in the future? With each plan, you would only have to pay the additional incremental costs for each of the units you add from the time you add them and as long as you continue to maintain those units on the site. All right, so hopefully this gives you a good overview of what Easy Landlord Forms offers and includes. And if you got value from this video, please give it a like. And if you have any questions about it or anything that I didn't cover in the video, please drop them in the comments section below and I'll be happy to answer them. If you stuck with me this far in the video, thank you. And as promised, you can use the following code, Vitali10, at checkout to get an extra 10% off your purchase of an Easy Landlord Forms subscription. If you guys are interested in giving this platform a shot to help you craft your next lease, please feel free to use my affiliate link, which I will include in the description and the top comment under this video. There's no extra cost to you for using my link, and as I mentioned, you will get an extra discount with that code at checkout. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.